Good afternoon, students. We'll move to the next module, that is module 4, which is environmental pollution and water technology. To begin with, we'll start with the water technology. Water is one of the most abundant commodities in nature, and all plants and animals, they need water to survive. And 75% of the earth's surface is covered with water. Even though 75% of the earth's surface is covered with water, only 0.3% of world's water resources are available for ready use. Hence, it is required to use the available water most carefully and economically. Okay, now let us come to the sources of water. First one is rainwater. Rainwater, as you know, it is the purest form of water. It carries the dissolved gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, etc., as well as the suspended particles present in the atmosphere during downstream. That means during the downward journey, rainwater will carry with it the gases which are present in the atmosphere, that is carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, which is present in the atmosphere, along with suspended particles. Suspended particles means the particulates, that is smoke, fly ash, then dust particles, etc. They form the suspended particles or the particulates. So rainwater along with gases, it will also carry the suspended particles to the earth's surface. Okay. Now next is river water. River water, it contains dissolved minerals like chlorides, sulfates, bicarbonates of sodium, magnesium, calcium and iron, along with suspended impurities such as rock, sand and organic matter. Okay. So river water, it contains dissolved minerals in it, and the amount of dissolved minerals, it depends upon its contact with the soil. Greater the duration of contact, more will be the minerals of soil that is dissolved in it. Okay. So river water, it has the minerals along with suspended impurities present in it. Okay. So these two are the sources of water. Now next source of water is lake water. Lake water contains high quantity of organic matter but lesser amounts of dissolved minerals. So lake water has maximum amount of organic matter in it. What do you mean by organic matter? Means the plant and animal particles as well as the domestic products, etc., which are present in water, that constitute the organic matter. So lake water has higher quantity of organic matter and lesser amount of dissolved minerals. Now next is sea water. Sea water, it is found to be the most impure form of natural water because it contains dissolved salts such as sodium chloride, sulfates of sodium, bicarbonates of magnesium, calcium and potassium, and a number of other compounds. Why sea water it is the most impure form of natural water? Because all rivers, they will join sea and they will dump the impurities carried by them into sea. Continuous evaporation of water from sea, it will be taking place. As a result, the concentration of dissolved impurities in sea water, it will increase. And it has been found that the dissolved salts present in sea water, it is found to be 8.6%, out of which 2.6% it is of sodium chloride. That means seawater is having a higher percentage of sodium chloride, and that is why seawater, it tastes salty. Clear? Now next source of water is underground water. Underground water, it is actually the rainwater that seeps through soil and gets stored underground. Okay, so that is the underground water. It appears to be clear due to filtering action of soil because it is getting stored underground after filtration by the soil. So it appears to be clear due to the filtering action of soil, but it has various bacteria, microorganisms and organic matter present in it. Okay, so these are the major sources of water. So first one, it was rainwater, second river water, third lake water, fourth sea water, and fifth underground water. Now let us see the types of impurities present in water. First is dissolved gases. Dissolved gases means the gases which are present in the atmosphere, that is oxygen, carbon dioxide, then oxides of sulfur and oxides of nitrogen. So these gases, they are present in the atmosphere, and all natural waters will have these gases dissolved in it. Okay, so these are the dissolved gases which are present as impurity in water. Now second one is dissolved salts. Dissolved salts means it includes carbonates, bicarbonates, chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. So these compounds, calcium carbonate, calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate, calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, all these, they form the dissolved salts which are present as impurity in water. Now third one is suspended impurities. Suspended impurities means they are the insoluble impurities, and they can be removed by filtration or by settling. Okay, that means settling means when it is allowed to stand for some time, these impurities, they get settled down and they can be removed by filtration. Okay, so suspended impurities means insoluble impurities which can be separated by settling or by filtration, and they are of two types. These insoluble impurities, they are of two types: inorganic impurities and organic impurities. Inorganic impurities means clay, silica, oxides of iron, aluminum, etc. They form the inorganic impurities, whereas organic impurities means decayed plants and animals. Okay, so these are the suspended impurities which are present in water. Now, next is the biological impurities present in water. These consist of mainly bacteria and other microorganisms. Other microorganisms means algae, fungi, etc. Okay, so biological impurities include algae, fungi, then virus, bacteria, protozoa, all organisms which are responsible for waterborne diseases, and they can be removed by chlorination. Okay, now the last type of impurity, it is the colloidal impurities. Colloidal impurities means consist of proteins, amino acids, ferric hydroxides, etc., and they can be removed by adding coagulants. Coagulants means they are substances which are added to precipitate the colloidal particles in a solution. Okay, so by adding coagulants, these colloidal particles, they will get converted to the corresponding precipitates and they can be removed by filtration. Okay, so these are the various types of impurities present in water. So first one, it was dissolved gases, then dissolved salts, then suspended impurities, then fourth one biological impurities, and fifth one colloidal impurities. Now next is boiler feed water. What do you mean by boiler feed water? What is a boiler? A boiler, it is a closed vessel which operates under different pressures and at different temperatures. So boiler means it is a closed vessel which operates at different pressures and at different temperatures, and water that has been fed to a boiler, it is called boiler feed water. Okay, so in boiler feed water, this boiler fed water, it will be heated to a high temperature under high pressure. So what happens? Water, it will be converted into steam. That is what is written here. Water heated in the boiler under pressure is transformed into steam. The water used in these types of boilers, it is called boiler feed water. And what is the use of this boiler feed water? Boiler feed water, it is mainly used in boilers for the generation of steam for industries and powerhouses. Okay, so boiler feed water, it is used in boilers for generating steam for industries and powerhouses. Okay, now this boiler feed water, it will be having impurities. It will be having impurities in it, and if the impurities present in it, if it is beyond the tolerance limit means acceptable limit. Okay, if it is beyond the tolerance limit, then it can cause several trouble to the boilers. So boiler feed water, it will be having impurities in it, and if the impurities, if it exceed the acceptable level or the tolerance limit, it will lead to trouble in the boilers. That is scale and sludge formation as well as boiler corrosion. So these are the troubles that is caused to the boiler if the boiler feed water is having large amount of impurities in it. Okay, so first we'll see scale and sludge formation. So what do you mean by scale and sludge formation? Water is heated under high pressure and temperature inside the boilers, which makes water to get evaporated in the form of steam. Now the boiling point of water, it is much lesser than the impurities. So what happens? Water, it will get converted to steam, whereas the impurities present in water, it will get concentrated. So inside the boiler, the concentration of impurities, it will be getting more and more as the water is getting evaporated into steam. Okay. Now, when the concentration of impurities inside the boiler reaches a saturation point, when the concentration of impurities, when it reaches a saturation point, the impurities will get precipitated out, or the impurities, they will get separated out. Okay. If the precipitate formed within the boiler, if it is soft, loose and slimy, then they are called sludges. Whereas if the precipitate, if it is hard and strongly adhering onto the inner walls of the boiler, it is known as scale. So this is how scale and sludge, it is formed inside the boiler. So inside the boiler, water, it is getting converted to steam, and as the water gets converted to steam at high pressure and high temperature, the concentration of impurities, it will increases, and when the concentration of impurities, when it reaches a saturation point, it will get separated out. And if the precipitate thus formed, that is the precipitate of impurities thus formed, if it is soft, loose and slimy, it is called sludge, and if it is hard and strongly adhering, means strongly sticking onto the inner walls of the boiler, it is called scale. Clear? So that's all for today's class. Remaining will continue in the next session. Thank you.